to welcome everyone here this evening. It is 5 p.m. We are in the Central Office Boardroom, and it is January 5th, 2023. This is our monthly meeting for the Giles County Board of Education. We'll start off with the roll call. Mr. McAllister.
Here.
Mrs. McLeod.
Here.
Mrs. Gordon.
Here.
Mr. Sumners.
Here.
Mr. Brewer.
Here.
Mrs. Smith.
Here.
And I'm here, all present. If you will rise for a moment of silence, followed by the prayer and the pledge of allegiance. Bow our heads. Father, we thank you so much for another beautiful day for Giles County and for these leaders, families, and parents and friends. We love you, we praise you, we thank you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Next up is the consent agenda, and we just had one thing fall to the side. An important thing, you can see it beautiful on the walls and a lot of folks here. So I'd like for someone to make a motion to add Mr. Ogeron, his art class here, to be added to new business.
So moved.
Second. Any opposed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. There we go. That's the fastest one we've ever done. We're going to do recognition of employees of First National Bank, and then we're going to jump right into art students and Mr. Ogeron. Dr. Gilbert's here to recognize 3 wonderful employees this month.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Beard. Hope everybody had a great holiday season, and we would like to give some money away tonight. So the December teachers and classified workers, schools recognized first, Miss Cindy Gibbons from Minor Hill School, educational assistant. Hi. Hello, congratulations. All right, K through 5, Brad Williams, the speech therapist at Pulaski Elementary. And Mr. Terrence Cross from Elkton School. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, First National Bank, Patrick, Mrs. Gibbons, Mr. Williams, Mr. Cross. Thank you all for going above and beyond and being recognized. And yeah, they will take a picture of here with you guys. Let's get right to it. Mr. Ogeron, thank you for being here, for bringing your students in, and I'd like to recognize your art and your expertise.
Yes, thank you so much for having us, allowing some of our students from Southside to exhibit some of their exemplary art. These are from the first 9 weeks where we were studying line. Each one of these students have expressed great craftsmanship and just overall mastery and should be very proud. So I'd like to give them all a big round of applause and just congratulate them on great work.
Appreciate you all being here. We love seeing the art and coloring the room up. We're going to need to leave this up here for a while. You don't need it back anytime soon, do you?
You got it for a month.
You already graded it and everything.
Do you have any of the little ones that did the work here tonight?
We do. Let's recognize these guys for sure.
Yeah. Guys, you want to stand up? Can we get a picture of them with you?
Yes.
Yes.
That'd be
Let's
great.
get a picture.
Over here. Come on. We're getting friendly.
Just stand towards the center.
You don't have to move, Joseph. You're not that old anymore.
Slide over a little bit.
A little more.
There we go. Mr. Sutton's in there. He's all right. Thank y'all guys.
Thank you so much. How are you?
You guys are more than welcome to stay and talk about budget revision, budget amendments.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Take this up.
Each group thinks fantastic. They're great. I mean, they're doing better than I could now.
Moving into new business, item A is the archery team, the NASP there at Richland School. Mr. Baxter did a presentation to us at the work session. He's here in attendance again tonight. We did clarify that stipend for that is $2,300. And it will either need to be added as a line item to the salary schedule or see if those funds are capable of moving around. Dr. Beard may have a little something to add to that.
When you look at the salary supplement schedules, there are lots of blank lines, and that doesn't necessarily mean that those have been set aside for that. So we will have to make a budget amendment. I do think the money is there, it's just gonna have to be done in a budget amendment, because that wasn't planned when we did our budget back in, April of last year.
Mr. Baxter, it would be your intention to start fundraising, if we have this approval, and obviously can pay the stipend to start fundraising and getting this in effect when?
So in order to get the grant, the window closes in March from the TWRA.
Okay.
So this would be immediately, as soon as possible.
Okay, all right. So, need our approval if we're gonna so approve that tonight, and then that way have the well wishes to start working towards the grant, fundraising and so forth. And we'll speak with management.
We probably do need to add, I know the question was asked last time about whether it could be a county team or not, and it cannot be a county team because of the requirement that they have to be in a class under that instructor. So if we were to add it at Giles County, how that would have to be another discussion at another time. So just wanted to make that clear too.
So this would be for adding that program to Richland School, which would service middle school and junior high and high school, correct?
Correct.
Any questions or discussion in addition? I entertain a motion to approve this addition of this team with funding forthcoming.
Move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, Mr. Baxter. Looking forward to seeing how that comes together.
Thank you.
Item B, under new business, budget revision. Again, this is part of our quarterly review. Mr. Hammond discussed what was there, some of this through rollover Perkins and whatnot, just basically clearing out, showing, and making sure those quarterly reviews are correct. This is money moving within accounts, so there's no audits are needed. Mr. Hammond, anything else you want to add to it?
Now, make sure there's several. But that is a rollover from Perkins Reserve, which typically is not rolled over, it's a competitive grant, but they did roll it over this year. We had to use it based on last year's theories of action and goals, and that's what that's been allocated towards, so. And that update there was just a change in the narrative. No money was moved, but we do have to update if we buy a different type of piece of equipment or use it for something different. We have to update the narrative within our E-plan for the state to approve, so the state has approved those changes. And then this is the Spark Grant, in partnership with TCAP Pulaski. We'll be able to offer, starting next school year, dual enrollment IT programs in our buildings, so students won't have to leave. Their instructor, they will hire the instructor. As a TCAP employee, we will help pay part of that salary and fund a computer lab to teach that IT program. So students starting in the 10th grade will be able to be dual enrolled. They follow through, take a course each semester, they should be able to finish their TCAP IT program prior to graduating high school. So it's a good initiative there. This grant is for rural communities. And sparse communities is what it stands for, supporting post-secondary access to rural communities. And so we should be able to, as long as the governor continues to fund it, get this annually to help support this. So sustainability should be very good in this grant.
In terms of getting it annually, reapplying for the grant yearly, or?
It's a non-competitive grant, so as long as we fill out the information they ask and it meets their parameters, we'll be awarded.
Could be awarded again. Awesome.
Is this one per each, high school? Or
This is for the district. The instructor right now in our discussions, it'll be split, be half of the way our schedule's set up, they'll have a travel block. It'll be at Giles County half the day, at Richland another half the day, so all
Okay, great.
students should be able to access it.
Excellent.
Thank you. When we look at item C, item B on here, this was just to make sure that those reviews are in place as we go through them. I'd entertain a motion to approve this portion of quarterly review that Mr. Amon has presented.
So moved. I'll say.
Motion been made and seconded to approve this quarterly budget revision. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and then also, Mr. Hammond went into that government grant contract with the Spark, the dual enrollment with TCAP. And with that, and it being a grant, we have to approve the acceptance of those monies. So I would entertain a motion to approve the acceptance of this grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any additional discussion or questions?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to just add, if we could reflect in the minutes that you're approving the contract as well. I know that was a little bit of an issue for audit in the past, so if we can reflect in our minutes that you're approving the grant award as well as the contract, I think it'll help us in the long run.
So in this, we're approving the grant and the contract.
And you have a copy of that contract in your packet, and we've sent it to you electronically as well, so.
Any additional discussion or question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Yeah, that terminology would be adjusted. Item D, the Richland School roof on that pink wing where we do have issues with the roof. With the work session, we were given some of the, what Mike had come up with Don Kennedy Roofing. We've also reached out to Brinley. This is a larger project that will take architectural drawings and bids. In 21, it was approximated at $127,000 in cost to do the scope of work that they saw best at that time. So we still have to get these out. We wanted to do the budget amendment and reflect that at $200,000 to secure those funds to move forward with that capital project. Entertain a motion to approve a budget revision in that respect for that pink wing roof in the amount of $200,000.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion, any questions?
We have to have 3 quotes for that. We have 3.
It'll have to be publicly bid.
Yeah.
But we have to have an architect come stake it out before we can publicly bid, but we need your permission to proceed with it, so.
This money too will be moved into what we, the maintenance line item, and then that way we can start proceeding forward with it and kind of get the ball rolling on it. If there are no questions or other concerns, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Item E, pupil transportation. Again, we discussed this at the work session. We are up for the purchase of 4 buses if we stay in our current rotation of trying to get caught up on the bus rotation and get active, safer buses that aren't running out of this time frame. This would be a budget amendment for $500,000 to make sure we cover the cost. And at our last board meeting, it was requested that we get some other quotes. We're showing that from Ms. Busby, and we got an email on this, what Bluebird quoted, which matching specifications was $135,000. That would probably change as much as $5,000 after the year, so probably looking at 140 in that.
Do what now?
Probably looking at 140,000 then, since we're into the new year.
With Bluebird, how about Bluebird is?
Bluebird, yes, 135,000. They're probably gonna have a price increase in January, which is what a lot of them do, so she put that extra 5,000 in there. I do want to say that international, it says honor up until January 9th. She has moved that to January 17th. So I wanted to tell y'all that ahead of time.
Is there any distinguishable difference between the
No,
three?
when I
gave
gave them a list
Okay.
that would be compatible,
Okay.
cause I wanted to do as much apples to apples as I could.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at Bluebird at 135 to 140, Thomas at 127, and then International through Sourcewell at 120. And with that total reaching up to $480,510. So securing the budget line item for $500,000 to do that. My only question in all this is, could we do 3? Should we potentially discuss 3? If
We could do 3, if we get the drivers back on the routes, that will start binding us back, but we could do 3. You might have to play catch up later on. So that's what you need to ask yourself, because it don't matter how many we buy, you're gonna have the other ones keep getting older, costing more money for the county, and also, you know, you got your extensions and everything that you have to keep paying for throughout the years.
And again, to remind new board members, this was put into effect, this schedule of
Yeah, about a couple of years ago,
Right.
yes.
and we were so far behind, we had
Yeah.
to not just drop, we're not in a position to
What
drop
they
a bus
had-
and bring one back.
Right, because what they had did, the state went, and this is mainly for Metro and all, the ones that's got, you know, a lot of pavement, they extended their bus year to 18. We always got rid of ours at 15. And what we're finding is the older the buses are, the more they cost us, and it's just, we'd be better off going back to our old system.
And if we do the 18 years, doesn't it cost us more in an extension
It
every
does, you
time?
have to pay extensions twice a year, and each one of them's $385.
So for all
So they
4
cost throughout the years.
So all 4 of these buses, are they at their 18-year
The
mark?
ones we're replacing, we've got enough to get rid of that are in really, really bad shape.
Okay.
Really bad shape. In fact, we're not even using them anymore, so that's what we'll do when they come in, we'll filter the other ones out.
We don't stay on our schedule. the
We
numbers
actually
are
have
high, we're gonna
one,
get
and
jammed
the
up.
one out there at Walmart is actually out of service. We don't even wanna use it, so there's one automatically right there.
Not only getting
So-
jammed up, but if we don't buy, we just buy 3 of that 4th bus, a year from now, might cost us $135,000.
Exactly, you're gonna have to play catch up. If we get back, if our system gets back on track, we're gonna have to play catch up. Next year, you're gonna have to purchase 2 special needs buses and 2 more 78s probably. And if you don't buy that one, you know, if you get your drivers and the routes back up, you're gonna be lacking. So
Doesn't
that's,
have that
you know,
potential
buses that are electric as well, hanging out there in the wind. Have we have
We
any
did not,
updates on
we
that?
did not get
If
that.
you wanna
Okay.
know how
Okay.
much they went up, our last international bus was piggybacked like $97,000. They are extremely going up. The whole manufacturing system is, well, you know, with COVID and other things, everybody pretty well knows. You know, it's drastic. In fact, one of my reps said she don't even like to quote anymore because she don't, it is such a high quote. She feels uncomfortable, but they have to pay their overhead and everything too, so.
Sure.
Did you get much documentation on the grant, you know, that proposal that she was gonna fill out the application for the electric buses?
I didn't get nothing else for
Other
that
than it
because we
was
didn't,
denied.
yeah, we didn't get, it was a lottery and we didn't get pulled,
Okay.
so.
Now, at a rate of 4 buses, will that get us back to where we need to be?
It'll get some good buses back on the routes, yes, sir.
And International's a 78 passengers.
What we used to almost every year get 5 buses. And we had them come in before the school year. We have gotten behind, like, but we used to could get them in 6 months, now we're having a year. And, so that plays a lot in too, but you had roll 5 in, we could roll 5 out. They were all turning 15 years old, and that was the deadline. You had to back then. So, and I've tried for years to get back on that system, but sometimes things don't happen exactly right, and you can only purchase 1 bus a year, and that puts you back, so then you had to try to play catch up. But, you know, if we bought 4 to 5 buses a year, we could get back on track.
Yeah, and you had that schedule for us.
Yeah, I've got it in my computer, yes, sir. I've had to rework it and everything, but
At about 4, about how long would it take us to get back?
we could do 4, we could do 3, but like I said, if we get drivers in these routes and all, we're gonna have to play catch up later on. So it's just, really, do you wanna go ahead and push for that extra one now, or do you wanna wait till later?
You're gonna pay for it if you wait till later.
Yeah, I
Just to
completely
confirm,
agree with
since it's
that.
not spelled out in there, the International is a
Try not to
78
spend
passenger,
120.
correct?
Yes, it's a
Spend an extra
78
40 to
passenger.
60.
I just didn't wanna assume.
Yes.
What's the delivery date on these if it goes through?
You know, she told us a year out when she put on this, she said November, so I'm still saying a year out with that one. In fact, our Bluebird's supposed to come in, they're scheduled to come in on the 23rd, the week of the 23rd this month. So that's gonna put us sort of, I don't like getting them in the middle of the year, but it's gonna be about the same time as we get them this year.
Any more questions for Ms. Busby? Thank you very much. Again, this item for purchase of 4 buses would be asking for a budget amendment of $500,000 to move that money over into transportation. We do have school and budget committee meetings tomorrow with the commission, so we'll take this information there. I'd entertain a motion to approve this budget amendment for the $500,000 for transportation for the purchase of these buses.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion and questions?
One more question, I'm sorry, I didn't realize she's right behind me. Do you have a preference over which of those 3 types?
We
Are
usually,
genuinely better quality?
we have been pleased with International, but there's other factors, like we can get, if we need parts, they come every day. You know, so, and some of them, the parts, you might get a cheaper bus, like I think one time, years back, Thomas was cheaper. We got a few Thomas buses. But on the back end, when you ordered the parts for one, like an alternator, don't quote me on alternators, but you might have the identical parts, but International was a whole lot cheaper. So that's sort of what we've looked at.
Okay, thank you,
Mhm.
because that matters. That really matters.
Any other other questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So we do want to do all these budget amendments together, and we talk about those items too. right?
Yes, that'll need to be reflected that it's approved separately since it's leaps and pre-K and then the CT is marked.
Okay, well, we did the spark grant, right. Okay. All right, also, we have budget amendment under here for item F, and, did have, a leaps and a DPK, grant that we needed to, reflect that money has come in and,
It's aligned with the state, and I don't know if Mrs. Sykes would like to elaborate on that.
Yes, so the budget that we had presented before was just a preliminary number that we were basing on prior fiscal years. But we received our actual state allocations now for both leaps and pre-K, so it's kind of just a cleanup. So what is in E-Plan, that is our state allocation, matches our budgeting software. So when we pull our statement of encumbrances and expenditures, that it's all reflected and all of our numbers match.
so with this item, and to put the budget amendment in there as a whole, it would reflect the, Spark grant, the, Pink Wing roof, allocation of 200,000, the transportation buses allocation of 500,000, and then the clearing up of the monies in, monies out, and how they move with leaps and DPK and those dollars that come in. And then we could take this budget amendment to, school committee and budget committees tomorrow, as this one document that Beth put together, or the financial management put together. Entertain a motion to, approve this budget amendment to move forward as it's been, expressed and explained.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions? Any additional discussion? Motion's been made and seconded, to approve. Let's see, I'm gonna list them out just one more time. We got the CT Spark Grant, the leaps to align with state, the pre-K to align with state, transportation, and the Richland roof maintenance, as we discussed them all. Good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Knox, do we have to say which company we want to use? Do we have to vote on that? Or do you guys get to choose which company you decide to go with for buses?
Well,
If that gets approved through the budget committee.
Since it's through Sourcewell,
Okay.
the bid process has already been conducted, so we shouldn't have any issues as long as the commission approves it. But we can put that to reflect in the minutes, it would be purchasing from the international.
Okay. I want to make sure that we have all of our T's crossed and I's dotted.
So let the minutes reflect that, unless there is an objection, that our approval was to go with the lowest bid, which also is Sourcewell, or the lowest comparison, which also is Sourcewell, which does not require a bid. That's one of our co-ops. Great. No old business, no policies for first reading, policies for second reading. Policy 6.300, the code of conduct. Again, we've had this addressed in work sessions, passed on first reading, and this was the annual review. If you remember, Mr. Hammond presented to us on that. Entertain a motion to approve the code of conduct as it has been presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Policies for second reading, 4.700, testing programs. Again, this is staying on here. We did get I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. As we've discussed in the work sessions and passed on the first reading, this is what the Board of Education, when they altered their policy for CASE and MVP, and then it included homeschool, viability of transcripts, and working also to make this assessment part of an administrative procedure. So just shoring up 4.7 as the state has changed some things for us as well. So I covered most of it up here. I feel like we've talked about this for so long.
And it did reduce the percentage of what the TCAP counted for grades 3 through 5 to 10%. That percentage from 0 to 25, it was recommended from several administrators that have interviews called the third grade retention and stress that they are facing.
Entertain a motion to approve on this second reading as we have discussed and reviewed policy number 4.700, testing programs. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any additional discussions or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? We'll make a note that Mr. Sumners did have to step out. He's on dispatch tonight with Pulaski Electric Systems, so there's a no vote on his behalf. Policies for a second reading. Here we are, 4.600, promotion and retention. This has been tabled since October, and we should be getting some more information next week. Is that correct? January 10th, I figured?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that information will be available to us for the work session. And we can make a move on that policy. Wrap it up, shore it up, finalize it. That gets us through the main portion of the agenda. We're now to board comments. Mr. McAllister?
One thing I was gonna say is thank Mr. Sutton and the other county commissioners and county executives that came and did the walkthrough on the schools. That was good for me too. I've been in the schools many times, but never in that capacity where I was looking at the condition and the age of our schools. So I'd like to thank them for their time and coming and doing that for us. That's good. That's what we need.
Mrs. McLeod?
I don't have a lot tonight. I always love to see the talent of our youngest little citizens. They did an amazing job. They did such a better job than I could do today, not even at their age. So they are phenomenal. And congratulations to our employees of the month. It's because of our hardworking folks that our children are able to shine, and I appreciate every one of you.
I know there had been some issues that had come up with the traffic at Richland School, so I wanted to thank administration. They put some different maneuvers in place, rerouted some traffic. From experience every morning myself personally, I can say it is better. I still think there might be some room for some and more improvement, but thank you to administration at Richland High School, especially for rerouting. It's not as congested and not as many people trying to pull out and get out. So whoever put that in place, it's working, I think.
And there is a traffic study being done, so there could be more things.
Mm-hmm. But it's definitely helped a lot.
Mrs. Smith?
Congratulations also to the teachers that were recognized, and also the beautiful artwork and the students that did that, because you look at that and there is talent, beautiful. And at the age that they are, can you imagine where they'll be if they stay and choose this as a career? So wonderful. And to the teacher too, that make sure they don't eat the garbage.
invite any other people in the county that wants to know what the schools look like to go and look at them like we did that day. An eye-opening deal for people who have never been in a school to see, in our schools, to see, in some cases how well they're being taken care of, and in other cases how much they're wore out. So, being able for them to see it as well, public or whoever wants to see them, schedule a visit, maybe they could go look. And congratulations to these youngsters here who have done these drawings and are involved in the art like that, and maybe it's going to get them down the road and make them the kind of folks that are that kind of in their jobs and everything else that are making these kind of efforts. And wish the entire school system a happy New Year.
You made it back just in time for your favorite part.
Writing that up while you're out there. I got another call. Hang on.
Way to help. I said, oh, he's gonna be mad.
I just like to thank everyone for what they do. I know we got sickness going around, and try to keep everybody healthy and yourself, and take care of your family, and appreciate what you do for our students, faculty, bus drivers, maintenance people, central office, and all down yards. Thank y'all, each and every one of you.
And TES will keep the light on for you.
Thank you.
If TVA will give it to us.
Yeah, thanks for the additional work that you guys did during that time. I'll hit on the school tour and whatnot again, and I will bring up the name of Miss Shelley Goolsby, who's been in the system and working as the school committee chair, so she's one of them that we will see in the morning. She definitely is what I would call in our corner, and would like to entertain having some of the actual commission school committee meetings in some of our schools, maybe in the different libraries, just to give more commissioners and more committee members, because not everyone was able to attend, to be able to come into our schools and see them from that same respect as well. So
Those meetings starting now?
tomorrow morning's
8:45. 8:45.
8:45.
Yep, school committee meeting in the annex of SunTrust is at 8:45 in the morning, and
Budget will follow immediately.
Also along those lines of talking about renovations, I was gonna ask Dr. Beard before the meeting to see if she could get any update on what our bid packages are doing. They did go out and hit the paper right before Christmas, and what do we have on those?
Brindley conducted the pre-bid walkthroughs this morning at Giles County High School. They said that they had 2 to 3 from each trade show up. It wasn't a mandatory meeting, so they do feel like there will be opportunity for others to submit. The window bids are being accepted through January 19th, and then all of the other work, which has to do with demolitions and masonry and roofs, fire stopping, all those things, will be accepted through January 26th. So now that they've had the pre-bid meeting, they can start submitting their bid packages, and those will be opened on January 26th at the Financial Management Office, or maybe downstairs in the annex.
Progress. Before hopefully some real progress.
Yes.
And Dr. Beard, you wanted to introduce our new school nutrition supervisor, is that correct?
Yes, we do have our food and nutrition supervisor here, Mrs. Pam Snyder. She is a 20-year veteran here with Giles County School System. She has been at Richland High School teaching family and consumer sciences, and now she has moved into her role, I guess, kind of Tuesday. She had to clean out a classroom and transition up here too, but we're looking forward to working with Mrs. Snyder in a different role, so thank you.
Anything else that we need to touch on? We have the work session scheduled for January 19th, and then our regular board meeting will follow 2 weeks after that on February 2nd, Groundhog's Day. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
job.